Hi friends, this is Em, and please ignore Siri screaming in the background if you can hear her. Today, I am going to be doing my July in review. So this is my reading stats from July. This is a collaboration with Jess from Knit Plan Jess, and as always, I am using stickers from Caitlin Plans. So this month, I know after last month I said, I'm not gonna do the pie charts anymore. I came right back to the pie charts, but I didn't do them on Canva this time. I think that I just got a little overwhelmed with like how many different colors there were, and I wanted to go back to it being simple, and especially for how many of these are just two colors. You know, it just made more sense. Also, I start getting into bar charts, which as a mathematician, I love. So right now we're just doing my ebooks, physical books, and audiobooks. I didn't read any physical books this month. No one is surprised. Like literally no one. I also only read 20 books this month. Although I did have several that I really enjoyed. And eventually you'll see them all on my Instagram because I've gone back to actually going through and journaling my reviews for the books that I really enjoyed. So some of my top books this month in July were Educated by Nellie Wilson, I'm Not Done With You Yet by Jessie Cusatanto, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, To Have and to Heist by Sarah Desai, The Last Word by Taylor Adams, Fly With Me by Andy Burke, and that was about it. After Fly With Me, I kind of was in a slump, and it was really just like 4 books. Oh, that's a lie. I also read True Biz by Sarah Novich, which was freaking amazing. Literally so good. This month I read 2 500-plus page books, though, that were both big, huge fantasy tomes. So that's part of why I read less books than I usually do, because each of those books is normally like 2 of the books. It's a whole thing. In terms of my overall reading goals for the year, my goal was to read 300 books in 2023, and I am at about 200. I think I was at maybe 199 or just crossed over into the 200 category. This month I read 20 books for 6,872 pages. So usually I'm getting more in the 24-25 range, and I think maybe in the 8,000 to 9,000 pages. But I had a good reading month. Remember, I always say this, if you read a book that you liked this month, you had a good reading month. If you didn't, then maybe your reading month sucked. But we can find you a recommendation so you have a good reading month next month. That's all. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. Now, in terms of the elephant in the room, my NetGalley statistics. So, this month was not terrible, all right? So, I reviewed 12 books. I got approved for 15 books, so that's a net 3-book increase. I currently, at the time of writing this for July, had 46 unread arcs and a 90% feedback ratio. Quick tip, right? So if I have 46 unread arcs and that is 10% of my feedback ratio, that means I've been approved for over 400 arcs, which is why I can get away with having so many unreads, right? And still having a high ratio. That's how math works. But I'm very excited for this month. I'm very optimistic. I currently have something like 44 unread. Yeah, 44 unread. So I've already decreased a little bit. I've been trying to hold back my requesting and just sort of auto accepting of widgets, but the St. Martin's Press form went out this week and I requested a lot of things, like a lot. For those of you sort of in the Bookstagram sphere, a lot of these publishers have influencer programs that you can sign up for if you're posting on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok about books. And it's a great way for you to get access to these titles before they're publicly released. And so a big part of this on NetGalley, right, is actually reviewing the book. Okay? It's really great at the beginning. You're like, yeah, free books. I love free books. And then you remember that you have to actually read them and review them. So if you can't do that in a timely manner, I don't recommend doing a bunch of requesting, even though it's hard because it feels like free books. And it's like, who would say no to free books? That's fine. So in terms of the sort of 3 core stats that I track, being LGBT rep, disability rep, and if we had a BIPOC author or not, these colors are consistent across the board. Blue is yes, peach is no. So for LGBT and disability rep, 60% of my books had those present for both. In terms of my BIPOC authors, this was a bad month for me. I believe it's an increase from last month. I'm going to flip through and check. Oh no, of course I didn't freaking mark it down. I think it's more than last month, because last month the pie chart looked smaller, but this month it was 35% of my books. So now remember that I've only read 20 books, so that's 7 books. But I do still think that I read more BIPOC books this month than I did last month, because it's at least one more. So as always, right, the goal is to get 1% better, not just in my NetGalley ratio, every single month. Or every single day, right? So I guess if I did that every day, then I would be at 65% next month. So we'll see. Basically, though, we're just trying to stay accountable and make sure that I'm reading diversely and that I'm recommending diversely as well. Because if you don't tell people about the books, then how are they going to know about the books? Just saying. Now, I think probably, okay, so a lot of these books came out in July, right? Like 7 Year Slip and Educated. Those books you can get now. The one book that's coming out in August that I think everyone needs to be ready for is I'm Not Done With You Yet by Jessie Q. Sutanto. It gives such If We Were Villains and Secret History vibes, except that it's I was about to say, except that it's actually readable. That's not what I mean. But it is easier to read. Sometimes with lit fic, I always feel like it doesn't want me to be interested. It wants me to get bored and stop reading it. This is not the case. This is a very thrilling, suspenseful book. I would call it a thriller. Some thriller junkies might not call it a thriller. All I know is that I was invested from the start, and I'm not going to tell you anything more about this. I don't feel like I can without accidentally spoiling something. This is the kind of book where going in blind is perfect, literally perfect. And if you've read her YA thrillers, this is kind of it feels similar, just in that you're getting the perspective, generally speaking, of a bad person, right? You're not supposed to like the narrator, and a lot of the times you won't, and that's okay. That's the point, right? But I liked the book. I liked the plot. I liked how things actually ended up. It was very, very good. I was very excited. On the opposite end of the spectrum, which this book came out in July, is To Have and to Heist by Sarah Desai. This book, it feels like Ocean's 8, like a perfect heist novel. It will make you laugh. It will make you scream. It just everything. I couldn't put it down. It's an ensemble cast. It made me smile. And especially because I was in a deep depressive episode when I read this. What else is new? I'm working on it in therapy. It's fine. But it really helped. It really brought a smile to my face, and I think I think that's to its credit, because when I'm feeling depressed, that's pretty freaking hard. So you can get that today, and I totally recommend it. Sarah Desai she writes humans, I mean, as opposed to animals, but she writes her characters so richly. Like, I want to be their friends, and I want to go get brunch with them. It's just honestly so amazing. I also really like this month of, like, the month in review. I really like the setup. I really do. And I think that I might repeat this in the future. I might sketch it out a little beforehand, and I'll probably save more stickers next time. Although for August, if you've watched, you'll know that I've already, like, decorated ahead of time, so it'll actually be easier. But my July TBR did not get dealt with. Maybe I could make a pie chart next time of what % of my TBR I actually read. That would be very interesting. But, it's fine. So if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. In the comments, let me know what your favorite book that you read in July was, and potentially what you're looking forward to reading in August. Also, let me know what you think of this stats page, how you like it compared to the previous one that I had sort of made in Canva and was a little more formulaic. And as always, happy planning.